Hello, my name is Eduardo and today I am here with another video or tutorial for Thunkable or appinventor or appyBuilder. Okay, well, this tutorial, it was an idea from one friend from the Thunkable forum. Okay, and he asked me, okay, so just wondering if you have any mechanism or can make a tutorial on how to make the layout arrangement transition. Okay, so well, I am just trying to make something, okay, because well, he told me that instead of using screens he's using layouts. Okay, so he had, for example, you have layout 1, probably you have your first screen, and then in the layout 2 you have screen number 2. Well, it is not a screen, okay, but it's the second part or your app or something. Okay, and you hide one and you show the other one, so that is the idea. But he asked me if you can if I can think about any transition to make it more attractive. Okay, well, Brainwork, I made something, okay, for you. I'm not sure if this is like the thing that you want, okay, but I will show you, okay, what is the idea with this thing. Okay, so basically I just have this. So this is an arrangement, so just let me check my tab. Okay, so this is arrangement number 1. So this is just a scroll arrangement, layout, vertical layout for this. So, and I just inserted a bunch of buttons and images and that's it, okay, just to fill the space. Now when we click this, we are going to hide this layout, okay, this is scroll layout, and we're going to show the next one. Okay, I know it looks a little slow, but don't worry, it is just for the computer right now. Okay, then you have layout number 2. Okay, now it is the same screen. I just using this transition. I am using something that I showed you in the previous tutorial, that it was this kind of a rebound or something like that. Okay, so when you were like it was in the one that I was showing you, this kind of intro thing. Now when you click the next one, you pass to the next one. Okay, that is another scroll. So 3 different layouts, scroll layouts, and you change. When you get to the third one, that is the last one for me, you return to the first one, and that's it. Okay, and it's like a transition. If you check, it gets like 0. Okay, I am just affecting the width. I'm not just I am just affecting, yes, the width, not the height. Okay, but you can modify also the height. And basically that is the idea. I'm not sure if this is the effective thing that you want. Okay, you can also change the color if you want of the background of the screen or something, but I guess it looks okay. Maybe it is not like moving to right or left because we are not using canvas, but I guess it is a pretty nice alternative if you are planning to use layouts, and it is not pretty difficult. Well, I guess we are ready to start, so let me just check everything that it's ready. And we're going to work today with Thunkable, as I told you, okay, but you can follow this tutorial with appinventor or appyBuilder. Okay, so well, to do that, the first thing that we're going to go, it is just to unhide this thing, and let's start working here. So well, we have everything here. Let's go to a new screen. I created a new screen, and in this screen we have everything ready. Okay, so just to save some time, the first thing, it is just need to add your layouts. In this case I'm going to use again 3 layouts. You can add more if you want, and you can add all the elements that you want. This is layout 1, okay, layout 2 and layout 3. So now if you check, you have the screen, you set it to responsive, remember, okay, and then portrait mode, it will be okay, and then that's it. You have an horizontal arrangement, okay. I set this horizontal arrangement that it will be like the main horizontal arrangement or the parent thing. Okay, so you are going to have nested all the rest of your horizontal arrangements. Okay, so let's call it here main horizontal arrangement. So this is the man that it's controlling all the rest. Now then I inserted here from the layout, I want to vertical scroll arrangement. Okay, so I just add it. You can add also this one or this one, any you want, but I just use the vertical scroll arrangement. I add a label. This is layout 1, this is layout 2, and this is layout 2 for all of them. I change the color. If you change the color, it is not using all because I set them to background, fill parent, and if you check the width, I haven't modified, but we are going to modify this thing. But first, let's work with this. The first layout, let's check layout 2. I changed the names also to make them more to make them easier to work with them. So you have the vertical arrangement 1. Okay, so I hide the 2 and 3 just to work with this. So for the width, we are going to set it to fill parent. So we're going to use the space from the main horizontal arrangement. Now, for the main horizontal arrangement, that I set it to color white, you can also leave it without color if you want, if you prefer, but I guess it's okay. So I just do it like that. Okay, so you are not going to see, but I guess with white it will be okay. Now, if you see, we have hide 85% of the screen for the main horizontal arrangement. For the width, the 90%. Then we have the vertical, the first one that is here, this layout for our app. Imagine that this is just for the start button or something. Okay, we're going to set it in here. And of course, because this is a scroll arrangement, we are not going to have the options to center, but don't worry. You can add more elements to this. As you remember in my example, I added some images. For example, I add here an image, and I'm going to use some of my images from my previous tutorial. Let's add this one, the one. That's it. If you check all the area, it is just color when you have when you are using something, okay, from the screen. Okay, so and you can fill it with images or buttons or whatever you want. Okay, so let's add some buttons just to that. Okay, you have the button 1. You can rename this because this is the main button. This is the one that is going to change the screens. Okay, so let's change the text to next screen for layout. What we are going to call it, screen. Next screen, and you can also change the color if you want. Okay, so for example here, let's set it to I guess white. No, maybe something here. Yes, horrible, but anyway, it is just an example, so let's go fast. So here, that's it. And then you can add more elements. You can add another image. Okay, so what if we add another image? So remember, you can use many things. Okay, here. So let's use image number 2. Oh, that's Thunkable. And that's it. Okay, so you can have more and more and more and more, okay, to fill the space and to have a beautiful color over there, or you can remove the color from your vertical horizontal arrangement. Okay, so if you want, you can change this to none and you will have like that. Okay, so I guess that is an option that you have, but I like with color, so let's set it to light green. So I am using just green for this one, white for the other, and red for the other one, just like in the Mexican flag. Well, anyway, so you have the main layout, that is the one. You can make it invisible just for now, and then we're going to make invisible the other one, that is the white one, and we're going to set the width as to fill parent inside this horizontal arrangement. Now another thing that it's important here, we can add an image. Let's add image 3, I'm just using the images from my previous tutorial, remember? Oh, now we have appinventor. So you can add a label. So let's add this label with blah 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 text. Blah 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 blah. Then you just can paste, and just let's enter this thing, and let's change the font size to 20. Of course, you can resize everything using, remember, the procedures that we have been using in other tutorials. Please check the other tutorials. Okay, but for now, let's keep it just simple. Now let's change this to next screen. I guess that's it. That's okay. Probably another image, or that's okay with this thing. So you can make this invisible, and let's add the image just for now. So we have image here 3, maybe image 4, and then we just make visible this. I just did it just to have the space. Oh, we have these two friends, appinventor and appyBuilder. Okay, well, we have layout number 2, and then we're going to go to layout number 3. So we are going to make this layout invisible for now. Then we go to layout number 3 and make it visible. We set it to width, to parent, and we add some elements. Okay, so we are going to add here a label. We're going to change the text of the button. You can have also here the buttons to control, or a button to change among the screens. Okay, so it is also possible, so don't worry for that. So now let's change this to next screen, but I just wanted to include these buttons inside the layouts. Okay, so next screen, it looks a little dark, so probably something like probably white, and the text, we're going to change it, of course, to something gray or black. Yeah, I guess that's okay. Now we have this label, and we're going to use the blah 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 stuff. We center this thing, and we set it to another color, something to white probably. If we change this to 22, then we add another image. Let's use this image that it's number 5, I guess, and number 6. Image number 6, that it's enjoy, and that's it. We have this beautiful thing. So we have now 3 screens, and now horizontal arrangement, we are going to set it invisible, the third one. Now we're going to go to the number 1. This is the main screen, so the start screen, so we're going to set it here to enable. Okay, so we're going to add probably another thing here, probably text, just to make it more blah 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 blah. Then we just center, change the color to white, and maybe we change this to 22, and that's it. Anyway, we have this thing, we have the other ones. Okay, the other ones are height, the horizontal arrangement 2 and 3. You can have as many as you want, okay, of these layouts. Now, what's next? Now we're going to go to the blocks, I guess, but before that we're going to add clock. We need 2 clocks. Okay, if you check the animation, basically we have an animation that makes things smaller and one that makes things bigger. So we're going to disable both of them, and we're going to set them to 48 to have something smooth. Okay, I guess that's okay for me. 48, and we disable the clocks. I guess that's all that we need. Okay, anyway, we can return. Now, the first thing here, it is to create a list of these horizontal arrangement, just with this string, the 1, the 2, and 3, okay, because we're going to use for each blocks, okay. So let's first make that, okay. We're going to use, let me make this thing, it's okay, here the size. So we go here, screen initialize, and we're going to first create a variable. The variable here, it is like layout list. We're going to need a layout list, and we're going to set it to an empty list. We're going to create a component basically, okay. So now we are going to go to lists, add item. When we load the screen, we are going to add to this list these elements. So we are going to go to the vertical arrangement, this scroll arrangement, and we're going to go to the last part, okay, and we're going to add just the name of the scroll arrangement, okay. The third, we have 3. We duplicate this one with the right mouse button, and then we just change to 2, and when duplicate, it is very important the order, guys, okay. So that's it. So when we start, we are going to load this in this list. So now this is the first part. Now to create the movements and everything for this, okay, first we are going to create some variables. If you remember my previous tutorial, okay, so if you don't remember my tutorial, please check the tutorial, okay, that will be like very helpful for you. I guess I have it in the screen number 1, okay, so we can return over there, okay. That is this rebound thing. So we're going to create some variables to create this movement. The first one, it is a velocity, velocity in the way in the x-axis, okay. So we're going to set it to 0. So we initialize this variable. Then we are going to need something, one variable called f, that it goes for friction. We're going to set it to 0.6. Then we're going to create another one that it's for the rebound factor. We're going to call it r, and then we're going to set it to 0.2. And finally, we are going to use another variable that it will be like scale x final. This is like the destination, okay. So this is the one that we want to go for destination. So the first one, we're going to set it to 0 right now. Now we have these variables to work with the animation. Now what's next? We're going to use a clock for this, okay, so to run this kind of animation, this kind of resizing or shrinking and growing the horizontal arrangements. So we're going to use clock 1 to make things smaller, and then clock 2 to make things bigger. So now the first thing, it's we need, well, again the first thing, no, because I have told you that, hey, okay, well, we're going to activate this clock. We're going to activate this clock when we press a button. You remember we have button number 1, so we're going to go use this button number 1. It is important that you change the name, but well, just for me right now, we're going to enable the clock. Enable the clock. Let's wait, because now it's getting slow. My computer, it's tired. And you know what? It is very hot in here. But I cannot turn the fan, because if not the noise it will be like quite annoying. Now we're going to set it to true when we touch this button, and then we disable this add. Then we go to global scale, and it is in 0, so no problem, but just for this thing we're going to set it to 0. And we're going to put it first here. We set the final size of this to 0, and then we're going to use the clock, okay. So now in the clock 1, we're going to use this. We're going to insert a condition. We're going to check first if the main layout, that this is the one that we're going to modify the size, the main layout, the width of the main layout, it is less or equal to, oh sorry, it's not visible, it is width. If this thing, it is less or equal to 0, we're going to do something, okay. So but remember that this clock, it's going to make things smaller, okay? So, but we're going to use else. What happens if this is not smaller? Well, we're going to start like shrinking this until we get to 0, okay? So how we're going to do this? Well, we are going to use here, we're going to change the x velocity here, and we're going to modify this as in the previous tutorial, okay? So we're going to use a very long formula, okay? So please check that tutorial for reference. So first we're going to multiply the x velocity times the friction, duplicate this, then friction, okay? And we are going to add, we're going to add this value to the subtraction of the global x scale, the destination, remember, minus the current width of the horizontal or the main horizontal arrangement layout, okay? So basically that is the idea, and then we're going to multiply this by the rebound factor. We're going to multiply this times the rebound thing, that is the R. I guess that's okay. So basically that is the thing with this. Then we're going to refresh every time with the clock. We're going to refresh the size of the main horizontal arrangement, the width, using this value, okay? So we're going to increase or add the x velocity plus the width. We duplicate. I use the right mouse button, and that's it. So now we are going to do this while this is bigger than 0. Else, what happens when we get to 0 or very small value? Well, we are going to disable the clock. We are going to stop the clock. We go here. Sorry, it's getting slow, my computer. Guys, don't forget to like this video. Timer to false. And then we are going to enable the other clock, the one that it's going to make things bigger. True. And what's next? We're going to change now the destination value. Okay. I know this is not, sorry. We're going to change now the destination value. Okay, so here, let's say we disable the clock 1. The destination now, it will be probably the 90% of the width, because that's the initial value that we have. So how to get the 90% of the screen? Well, we're going to use the screen width times 0.9, and in that case we are going to get the 90% of the screen, so the size of the width of the screen with that thing. Okay, so basically that's the stuff. Okay, and then we're going to enable this clock. Okay, we disable this clock and then we enable the other clock that it's going to make things bigger now. So we're going to drag this clock here, clock, we drag it in here, and we just duplicate this one, and we just drag it over here, and then we just duplicate this one, and that's it. Just very simple, right? Now if you check this button, it will be, now let's see what's happening right now. That's it. Now we have this thing but it's not changing the layout. We want to change layout, okay, every time we get to 0. When the screen gets like to 0, okay, like very small, we want to change the to the next layout, and then when it pops up to the bigger thing, okay, we want to see the new layout. Well, we're going to create a procedure for that, and that's why we make this list, okay, instead of making now make this visible or not. So we're going to make this, and we're going to use any component blocks, okay. So let's go here, and we're going to create another variable. We have the layout list, so we need another that it will be layout. We're going to duplicate this one, and we're going to remove this, and we're going to call it layout index, and we're going to set it to 1. Now basically now we're going to go here, and we're going to create a procedure to simplify things, well, not simplify, to have more organized things, and we're going to call it change layout or change screen, whatever you want, but it's just changing layouts. Now we're going to change the layout list, okay. So you have the item, so we want to set if this is visible, invisible. So if this is visible, these are invisible. If this is visible, these are invisible. Well, basically that is a thing, okay. So that's why we're going to use for each, but first we're going to insert a condition, because we want to, every time we get to 0 here, we want to use this procedure, okay. So that's the thing, we're going to change the layout every time. So now to do that, we are going to check if the layout index, if the layout index it is less than the length of the list. Which list? Well, this list, the layout list. So you can add more layouts, and this thing is going to work, don't worry. Now if this is less than the length of this, we're going to increase this value by 1, okay. So we're going to change, we're going to set, and we're going to set plus, and we're going to use 1. We can use here the number plus 1. So the current layout index plus 1. That's it. And then we're going to use for each. Now this is the tricky part, okay. So this is the part that took me the most, okay. So I had to think a little bit, but I just figured it out. So now let's go here to any vertical scroll arrangement. We're going to use here, we are going to check the property visible, but we are going to use for each because we are using a group, okay. Please check also, I have some videos about how to use for each, okay. So we are going to call this scroll or current scroll. We are going to rename it to make it more meaningful. Then we are going to use in which list? Well, in the list of scrolls, okay. So, or layouts, current scroll or current layout, whatever you want. Now we're going to set vertical or scroll arrangement visible to true or false. So we are going to get this one, the current, and we are going to check, we are going to use a condition here, if, and we're going to use, as is a condition, we're going to use here a condition. So if met here, we are going to check the index. Here in list, we go to index in listing. From the current, we are going to check which is the current. Remember that for each, it is just like a loop, okay. So which is the current thing, index and list the thing. From which list? Well, in the list, let me just move this thing. In the list, this one, the global layout list, check. For each current scroll, check this one, and we're going to check if this thing that we have in here, okay, so that's why we are getting the index of this thing, it is different from the current layout index. If this value is different from this, we are going to set the property of this layout to visible false. So we're going to use false. But this, if this thing it is equals to the current layout index, we are going to set it to true. And that's it. And then we are going to insert here. So what happens if we get to a number that is bigger than the global layout index? Well, we want to reset this index, okay? So we want to reset to number 1 again. So we are going to insert, that's why we are going to insert here else. So what happens if we go to the layout index, okay? So we're going to duplicate this and we're going to set it to the layout index to 1. So we are going to reset this thing and we are going to duplicate the one that we have in here using the for each, okay? So don't forget, you need to use any vertical scroll, you have to use them with for each. Duplicate, and we set it down. And we set it to true. And we are almost done. Okay. So check. So remember, this is just the part that you need to understand. Okay. So the current scroll is the one that is selected in the current in the loop. Okay. So now we are going to check if the current thing, okay, it has the same index as the layout index. It has the same index. For example, it's index 1, so that it's scroll number 1. So we want to make it visible. If not, invisible. If it's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, it is going to set it to invisible. Okay. So now we are going to go here. And now what happens when we click in here? Remember, I said the change layout inside the clock when we get to small thing, okay, to 0. We're going to run this thing and we're going to change the layout. Now it's not changing. Why? Well, I guess we need to refresh the screen. We are going to go here. Let's refresh everything. Blocks, and then we just analyze everything. Okay, so now we have this, and just let's organize everything. I guess this is okay here. We're going to set this one to true here, this one here, and change this one here. So now let's see, if we click in this, what happens? We have layout number 2. Now, if I click this, nothing is going to happen because I haven't added anything to this button. So now it is the next screen. So if you go here to the layouts, it's the first button. It is button number 2. So we are going to drag it in here, and we're going to do the same thing and in this one. So, or also you can make a procedure, simple procedure for clock, and you can call it activate clock, or move to the next layout button. That's it. And we drag this thing, and then we just insert it in these buttons. Okay, so we go here, next layout button, we duplicate this one, and that's it. If we click in here, we have the next layout, and then in the third one we have this, and then we're going to go here to button number 3. So it is button number 3, and we're going to duplicate this thing, and if you check now we are in 3. This thing is going to reset, I hope, to the number 1, and that's it. That's the way you have your thing, okay? So you can have many interactions or things, okay? So inside these layouts you can have canvas, okay? You can have images, or you can have more things, okay? So you have to be very creative with this thing, okay? So well, I guess that's all for today. As you check, it was a very fast tutorial. Well, fast, it was like 34 minutes, okay? Well, but I guess for the tutorials that I usually do, okay, this was very fast. I hope you like this tutorial, guys. Okay, so please don't forget to like this video. Please help me with that thing. Okay, also check my Patreon page if you want to support my working here with Thunkable or appinventor this. Okay, so that will be really helpful for me, okay guys, to have some more time to work with tutorials. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. My name is Eduardo, okay, and I will see you next time. If you have any comments, problems, suggestions, ideas for tutorials, please let me know them, okay. So I'm not an expert, but I can try to make something, okay, as for my friend Brainwork. Okay, thank you Brainwork for this idea. I guess I like it. I hope you like it too. Okay, so it is not perfect, but you can make it better, I guess. Okay, so you can also modify the width, okay, I mean the height, okay, so make it like reducing to 0 here and then appearing, okay, so that is up to you. Okay, so I will see you next time. My name is Eduardo. Please don't forget to check my other videos, okay, my other tutorials, and please share this with your friends. Okay, so tell them about this my channel, guys. Please help me, please. I will see you next time. Bye bye.